Welcome to Carlo and Bob, the best show in town, where generations square off as a millennial and a baby boomer discuss the latest topics and headlines with a focus on financial literacy and retirement planning.
In today's show, we will cover headlines, talk about the price of oil and OPEC's prediction that it will increase to $70 a barrel in a few years. Then we'll talk about last year's best performing asset. In our Q&A, we'll talk about how do you pick a good stock and give you some stories of stock picking. And we'll also talk about what is a value stock and what is a growth stock. And then finally, we'll end on the light note with some holiday traditions that we like to celebrate in this Christmas season. So we hope you enjoy the show.
All right, hello everybody. Happy holidays. Again, of course, today I'm here with Bob the Baby Boomer. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Carlo? It's our Christmas Eve edition. Merry Christmas to everybody.
It is the Christmas Eve edition because it's falling on Christmas Eve and we're not doing it on our Wednesday night like we always do.
So let's start with headlines, Carlo.
Let's do it. So we got low oil prices. You know, why? What does that mean for us? Is that a good thing? I
saw a headline today that said OPEC thinks the prices will be $70 a barrel sometime in the next few years.
And for some of those out there that really don't even know what price a barrel should be at, let alone if they knew that oil was sold in a barrel, is that good? Is that bad?
Well, today it's selling at about $35 to $40 a barrel. So we're talking about oil doubling in the next few years. So think about it. You go down to your local pump today and you pay, about $2.07 a gallon?
It was finally going down. It was starting to go down.
You know, I was in Jersey yesterday. You know what I paid?
What?
$1.74.
Oh my God, I feel like we're going back to your childhood, Bob. My God, that's crazy. That's very cheap.
So, but if it doubles in the next few years, that $2 could be $3.50.
Again, maybe $4.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to follow. And you may say, well, why is it so low right now? And one of the things happening is OPEC. They're the oil producing cartel, the major companies in the Middle East and some in South America who kind of get together and try to set the price of oil.
Like a monopoly.
Yeah. They're pumping out a lot right now. And they're trying to keep the price low to drive competitors out of business.
If they make the prices higher, are there going to be competitors to say, hey, listen, market, come to us. We're cheaper still. We're now 35. I mean, what is going to allow them to go to 70? I mean, I guess they could do whatever they want, but I guess if they go to 70, does that mean their competitors are no more? Or?
Well, that's their theory. That's their philosophy, is they want to drive those people out of business. And a lot of them are the U.S. producers who it costs a lot to get the oil out of our reserves. They're going to drive them out of business, and then after they've driven a lot of them out of business, then start to jack the price up.
Because there's no one to go to.
It'll be hard for those people who went out of business to get back into the business because there's a startup cost. You just don't press a button and oil comes out.
Sure. Well, this is great content. This is awesome. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was saying that we get our oil, though, from maybe Canada. We don't really rely on the Middle East as much as maybe OPEC is saying that we do. I mean, is this true? Is this false? I mean, is this going to be a heavy hitter for us if OPEC does what they say they're going to do? Because I'm assuming Canada and our country ourselves are not part of OPEC, or am I wrong?
That's correct. We are Canada and the U.S. are not part of OPEC. But it's a market-driven price. And OPEC does right now generate the majority of the oil. Russia's in there too. Russia generates a lot of oil.
So really interesting.
But you got to look at the whole global market. And if somebody who's controlling the majority of that product can manipulate the price, they're going to try to do so.
Wow. And so they say that the oil price is about 2020 is going to be maybe 70.
That's what they're shooting for. Well, time will tell. It's one of those, again, let's keep our eye on it and see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But another topic I saw today, a very interesting one, it said the headline was, do you know what the best performing asset was last year? 2015.
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Well, it's one that surprised me. The Russian stock market.
Oh, God. I don't even know where to begin. The Russian stock market was the best asset of 2015.
If you put all your money in the Russian stock market, you would have earned like 20 to 30% on it. You know, compared to the U.S. stock market that was basically flat or down a little bit. And You may say, well, that seems a little crazy. Well, you got to think about it. It had gone down so low because of all the turmoil over there. Putin doing the crazy things that he does. Their stock market had gotten so low, and then they kind of started to stabilize a little bit.
And then it just went up.
And it went up a little bit. So
does that affect us? Does that affect our market?
No, not really. No, our U.S. economy is strong, and it really shouldn't affect us too much.
So then for an investor out there, again, anyone listening, could they have invested in the Russian market?
Well, last show or two ago, we talked about ETFs. Remember what ETFs stand for?
I do not, actually.
You wanted to put an L in for the T and make it
Elf.
yeah,
Elf. That's right. I do not remember what an ETF stand for.
It's an exchange-traded fund, very similar to a mutual fund. But there are ETFs out there that invest in specific companies. And I'm sure there's an ETF out there that invests just in Russian stock market. So you probably could find an ETF.
That had business in the Russian stock market.
Right, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But it's an interesting headline. It's something that caught me off guard. And it just kind of leads us into our Q&A today because
I wanted to ask you, so we talk about stocks, we talked about ETFs. Clearly that must have went through one ear and out the other. But then again, we're here just trying to make sure we have a good show for the people out there, but I'll continue to do my research and understand some of these terms better. You have some stocks, I'm sure, in your lifetime. I mean, what's a good stock story that you maybe have for us and the viewers?
Here's a good story, and it kind of is our leading question is, how do you know what stock to buy? What's a good stock? What's a bad stock?
Yeah, how do you know?
And we'll do a number of shows on this and different ways to look at a different stock. And this will be just a kind of a basic, what do you look at in a stock? And I start with a story. You ever hear of a company called Apple?
Yes, I have. They're a good company.
The apples.
Oh, no. Oh, well, last time, when someone said Apple to me, I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, I eat apples all the time. But then they were like, no, the Macintosh. I was like, oh, I used to play on those computers back in the day at school. So now I kind of know what we were talking about, the Apple company. But, you pass these by me sometimes. I have no idea what people are talking about. But
this company called Apple Computer, and this is, 15, 20 years ago. I had some money in my wife's IRA. And don't tell my wife the story because she'll get mad.
I won't. I promise I won't. I'm excited to hear this.
So there was some money in her IRA, and I said, I'll buy 500 shares of this company called Apple Computer. And it was at $19 a share. You do the math, that's about $9,500. And this is before iPods,
whatever they
iPhones,
call them, iCarlos, iBobs, anything you got, anything with an I in front of it was before any of that.
All they did was make computers. I held on to this 500 shares for a couple of years, and it went up to $25 a share.
Oh, you're making some good return there.
That's about 30% return. Ooh. Pretty good investment over 2 years.
Yeah. You made about 3G right there.
Yeah.
Right around that.
Yeah.
Okay.
$3,000.
Okay.
And the stock market, it actually went down 20%.
Wow.
So I was feeling really good.
Hey, everyone, you're down there. I'm up here. No, I know that's not who you are, but I'm just saying, you felt smart, right? That's a smart move.
Yeah. And at the same time, Steve Jobs, you know who Steve Jobs is?
Steve Jobs, they have like 7 different movies about him right now. So we had Ashton Kutcher play him, which did, I think, an atrocious job. I just kept looking at him. I thought he was playing in that 70s show again. But no, I heard the new one is pretty good. But yes, I've heard of Steve Jobs. The past CEO, the late, great
That's right.
Steve Jobs. God rest his soul, of course, but yes.
Well, Steve came back to Apple. They'd kicked him out for a little bit, and he came back, and he was starting to fight with the Apple board of directors. To me, that's a bad omen when your leader is fighting with your board of directors.
Sure. And then they did allow the investors or anyone that's in that circle of investing in stocks, do they air this information?
Oh, yeah, it has to be public information.
Securities and Exchange Commission, correct?
SEC.
There we go. Yeah. Very good.
So I thought it was a good time to get out. So I sold my 500 shares at $25, and I made that $3,000 you talked about.
Hey, that's a nice vacation right there to cruise.
So
you and the wife.
Felt real good about it. So we fast forward today. What would have happened if I kept those 500 shares of Apple stock?
How many years in between?
I don't have the exact dates on the top of my head. 15, 20 years.
So that's not that long of a time. Yeah. And, but so here we are. What would you say that if you'd have let that $10,000 ride in Apple, where would that be?
Well, I did the math the other day, and I really got a sick stomach.
Oh. What was this number?
Well, if you take into account all the stock splits and all the price appreciation of Apple stock.
Which we'll talk about splits later.
Yeah. It would have been worth over $700,000 today. $12,500 up to $700,000. Ouch, that hurts a little.
This is, again, why you're the focal point of this show. But we do lead into the next question here. But do I want to air any more grievances out with Apple? Because I really do feel bad. But some people would be like, why is this guy on this show? Why is he the one? I mean, he just lost $700,000. Well, you didn't lose $700,000. You lost the opportunity to make it.
That's right.
You ended up making money, and you stayed conservative. And again, you didn't lose any money. You made money. How can we educate the listeners out there? What's the right time to buy stock? What's the right stock to buy industry wise? And when's the right time to sell? Hindsight's 20/20, but now some would say, oh, wait a second, he didn't know when to sell that stock.
Yeah, and that points out one of the challenges of picking individual stocks. Because if you're going to be a good individual stock picker, you got to make 3 correct decisions. First, you have to decide what's the right stock. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you have to decide when's a good time to buy that stock. And third is when's a good time to sell that stock. So 3 decisions you have to make. And you look at my Apple story, I made good decisions 2 out of 3.
Yeah, the first 2. Yeah,
I picked a good stock, picked a good time to buy it. I just picked a little early with my decision to sell. Yeah. So that's what hurt me. And so that's one of the challenges of being an individual stock picker. And we'll in this show and further shows talk about how do you answer those 3 questions.
Yeah, and what are good stocks to get and what time. But we want to, again, just give that knowledge to some of these people out there that maybe could make an extra buck on just a stock that you're interested in.
Yeah. So two of the other questions that I'm going to kind of delve into today, but there's a lot of other questions on this topic to talk about too. But is in individual stocks, there's what we call value stocks.
Okay.
And there's growth stocks. So when you look at an individual stock, you got to ask yourself, is it a value stock? And why do I want to pick it as a value stock? Or is it a growth stock? And why do I want to pick it as a growth stock? So, and again, there'll be technical people out there that'll give you technical definitions of a growth stock and a value stock.
Sure.
And I'm not here today to delve into those numbers and technical definitions. I like to keep it real simple. My simple mindset is a value stock is a company that's evolutionary or kind of stable. Their products are just evolving from where they were, but not doing anything radical.
Okay.
A growth company is one that potentially has a revolutionary product.
So like a game changer.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Just like, I guess, our last show, the drones, that could be a game changer for Amazon if they want to deliver.
Changes the way we do things in our world.
It allows us to grow as an economy.
And let's take a couple examples. Let's take a company like Microsoft. Back in its heyday, wouldn't you say it was revolutionary?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, they
created the software that runs your computer,
the software,
and all the personal productivity software that's on it.
Absolutely. I mean, it changed the game for how people wrote letters. I mean, instead of letters, it's now emails. I mean, of course.
Spreadsheets. Sure. It was revolutionary, and that's why Bill Gates is worth $90 billion today.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So let's look at Microsoft today, though. Would you call them a growth company or a value company?
Today? Gosh, I hate tests, Bob. Gosh,
you just finished your college exams, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. Well, I did pretty good. This was my break. Hence the Christmas Eve edition. No, I'll put my brain to work. Realistically, I'd like to say that I think now I'd have to say it's a value. That's me.
And I think a lot of people would argue today it is a value company because all it's, in my mind, and what a lot of people say is it's just evolutionary. It's improving the products that it has.
It's not revolutionary.
That's right.
It's evolutionary.
Yep. And it's paying a nice dividend. Oftentimes with value stocks, you'll see them paying dividends as opposed to using that cash to invest in their business and make their business grow. They're returning it in the form of dividends. So value companies usually are evolutionary and oftentimes paying dividends back to their shareholders.
And do we want to dive in real quick? What are dividends, to be simple about it? I mean,
well, generally, they'll some of the income that they earn every year, they return a portion of it as a cash payment to the shareholders. So. And oftentimes you'll see it somewhere between 1% to 5% of the value of the stock.
So if it's $20, then they'll just get 1% of that $20.
Yeah. Okay. Paid to them in cash. Usually they'll split it into 4, so you'll get that 1% divided by 4 every quarter. They'll pay it in a quarterly payment.
Okay. So, we'll talk some more about dividends.
So that's an example of a company that I would view as a value stock right now.
Sure.
And another typical one might be like a Verizon. Stable, just evolving the products they have.
Always staying at least in front of the competition.
But it's a very competitive field they're in.
Exactly. They're not separating themselves. Because if they were separating themselves, again, that would go back to the revolutionary side.
So give me an example of what you might think is a growth company now, today.
A good buddy of mine, he told me about this gentleman that created Tesla. I think this gentleman is invested a lot of the money, from the proceeds he made from Tesla and his business there to create some type of rocket ship that actually can land back the way it started going up. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, to me, that seems revolutionary, but now I don't see it as the same product or the same business, so I don't necessarily know, because, we didn't just create a Tesla, and now we're saying it's a Tesla rocket ship.
Well, let's talk about Tesla a little bit.
I guess you could say they are revolutionary, because not only are they a vehicle, they're a vehicle that runs on energy, battery-powered energy.
Keep trying to get away from that oil increase that we talked about earlier.
Excuse me, it's the battery-powered energy. It's not, it's not the gas energy or anything like that. The catch here is they did Chevrolet created a Volt, and consumers were just not having it. I mean, maybe it was doing the trick as far as being safe, but it wasn't fast. It was really kind of just a normal car again, just with saving through gas.
So yeah, I would tend to agree with you. Tesla being a growth company, because it could be revolutionary in terms of how we drive in the future.
That's the case, they say you can't get enough of that horsepower. so that's
I'm going to throw another question. I'm throwing this to test today.
I like this. I mean, you're the boss. You're the baby boomer. We respect our elders.
So what do you call Apple today? Is it a growth company or a value company? And there'll be a lot of debate on the answer to this one.
Wow. I mean, either way, whatever I pick, there's a debate.
Yeah.
Ah, man. From what I've seen the last 5 years, I have to do my regression and go from the last 5 years. I'd have to say it's a growth company. iPhones and iPods, iPads, they weren't around back then. And I think that was revolutionary, be creating things like that.
Yeah, but to me, and I'll give the
give me devil's
counterpoint.
advocate.
Devil's advocate. We look at it today. Ever since Steve Jobs passed away, what revolutionary product have they come out with?
None. Yeah.
Everything's been an evolution.
It has just been
of what Steve Jobs helped create.
iPhone 6.5.357 plus and a half and a half into the half of the 10th power. So
That's right.
And then in 2 days, once you spend $10,000 on that phone, we're going to make the 6 plus and the 7th half and the 10th. Yeah.
My argument is, unless they have some revolutionary product, I think it's slowly transitioning from a growth company to a value company. But time will tell.
Time will tell. And we'll keep that. And we have a lot of things that we have to keep in our sights in the future shows.
But let's talk one last question about value versus growth. I heard there's this stock you've been following. Tell us about it.
Well, we've got a little bit of. I guess when I said your story was heartfelt, I could feel that pain because in August there was a stock that I was looking at the biotech industry, and there was a few stocks. I saw this company called Adamas. I don't have the ticker off the top of my head. I think it's maybe EDMS. What they do is they focus on, again, revolutionizing the pharmaceutical companies. I mean, they try to...
That's a classic example of revolutionary companies.
There you go.
Your biotechs, because they're trying to maybe cure a cancer that was...
Exactly. That was never curable before.
In the past.
Or, just create any type of thing that, a blood pressure depressor. You never know.
So most biotech are generally growth companies.
Sure.
Yeah, but continue with your story.
I find myself, again, looking at a few companies. Adamas would be the one that I was particularly interested in. A smart man by the name of Bob. He said, don't be emotional. Look, read, research, react. Watch that stock for a little bit. Don't be emotional. It was seriously some of the best advice I've ever had because I have made money through the stock market because of that. But this particular instance, I was following it and I said, I'm not gonna pursue it. I'm not gonna invest any money. Now, if I would have liked to have maybe put realistically $5,000 in it. So that gives you where I'm at. Nothing like your story, but close to it. And I bought some other stocks. Did okay, did bad, here and there. I checked my computer like 2 days ago because I kind of chilled on the stocks lately because it's Christmas. You got to pull out and you got to start buying for people, which I bought an Apple product for my sister, just saying. The iPhone 6 Plus 37,000, I don't know. No, so I look and just like, where are my stocks at? And I saw Adamas and I looked at it at the price originally back in August at $15, $31.
Wow, could have doubled your money. Doubling your money. Then that's very typical of biotech companies because oftentimes they have to do trials and tests and get FDA approval. And if FDA says yay, it shoots up. FDA says no,
Bam, done.
Bam. And it's almost close to going to the casino.
Pretty much. And hey, we all know me. Anyone that listens, I like the casino once in a while. And so, but I want to wrap up here with you. Long-term, short-term tax, this stock. If I would have stayed in, or if I should have purchased, first off, and I wanted to pull out, I would have got taxed on a short-term gain for what, about 30% though?
It would have been on whatever your marginal tax bracket is, and it depends on what your income is.
Okay.
But, a lot of people are typically at 28%.
But short-term gain's higher than obviously long-term.
That's right, yep.
So that could have been another risk.
You would have to hold it a year.
There you go.
And you don't know what that stock would have done in that 1 year period.
Here you go. Let's wrap up with some fun segments.
Well, let's talk about holidays. And
Sure.
This is the Christmas season. And in our Christian faith, we celebrate, the birth of Jesus. And other traditions, Jewish tradition has Hanukkah around here. And their faith traditions do other things. But it's all celebrating God's love for us and coming here and joining us here on earth. And I think we try to do the same with our fellow man. And what were some of the traditions you celebrate in your family?
Well, I actually have a cool tradition. Our family, we do our dinner, everyone does their dinners, but like a cool one is a buddy of ours, Jordan. He has just a great Italian festive. He makes his own homemade raviolis, and he accounts for about 100 people. A lot of people that may be listening to the show go there and will be there. The traffic runs from about 7:30 to maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. Some of the stragglers that are just drinking one too many. But it's just a great atmosphere. Jordan, good friend of our family's. My family loves going there, and you don't really have to. This is the best part about his house. You don't have to really know anyone. Yeah. You just go in. You kind of take what you just said to your little segment, and you add that to the formula, and everyone is just all about love, peace, and let's just have a good day or two of giving. So that's one of our traditions. Now, sadly, actually, I don't know if we're going to be making it. I still consider, if we've gone more than the one time we haven't, I see it as a tradition still.
Great.
I want to do one more tribute. And again, whoever viewers are, I just want to say I'm sorry for your loss of your dog, Tucker. I did love that dog. That was my little buddy. So I just wanted to say seriously,
thank you, Carlo. 14 years, our little Bichon Shih Tzu mix, and it's a great family friend. But our daughter got a Christmas gift this year of a little puppy. So we're going to see a little puppy in a few hours here, and that'll help damper the sadness we experience.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone else.
A couple of our traditions I'll just run real quick. We like to go to Christmas Eve Mass in church to celebrate.
Do you do the midnight?
We do 8 o'clock. We'll try to do 8 o'clock. Then we'll come home, and to be the little kid in us, we'll maybe watch Christmas Eve on Sesame Street.
You got to watch that. Maybe the Christmas Story. I don't know.
Then we do Jimmy Stewart. What's his classic?
Not the Angel one.
Yeah,
is it the Angel one?
Yeah.
I don't know how. I told you, like last year, I'm an old soul. Okay, so you do that.
Yeah, that always helps us to be grateful for what we have, and oftentimes we overlook it.
Amen to that.
Then finally, maybe toast the Christmas in with a Pisco Sours. You know what a Pisco Sour is?
Pisco Sours. Is that one word? How many variables are in that? I don't know.
It's a drink from Peru. When our daughter was in Peru, she introduced this to us.
Yeah, you guys told me that on the personal side. Okay, yeah.
So we toast them with a little Peruvian cheer.
That's great.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody. And
this is a great show. This is
actually
one of our best shows. Yeah, very good.